If you're not listening to the Smoke World podcast, you're wasting your time, you mortal. What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Smoke World. I'm your host, Stone. So we're going to get right into the show. Enough of this long IG website. We're changing it up a little bit. Today's guest, Rebel Chef, and my guest co-host, my man Ace. We talk about a few things. So sit back, relax, and do what you do.
So what would you like? What do you want us to call you? You want to call you Rebel Chef? You want us to call you Jay? Rebel Chef Jay?
You can call me just Chef Jay. I mean,
Okay.
people either call me Chef or Jay, whatever. I don't.
Okay,
The Rebel
Chef
Chef doesn't need to be. That's more of like a marketing thing than
Gotcha.
That's a long ass fucking name to call someone. Rebel Chef. Jesus Christ, man. That's like your Christian name and shit. Like that's how your mom calls you, Rebel Chef Jay. You're like, fuck, I'm in trouble, man.
All right, Chef Jay. That's what we'll call you, Chef Jay in the building.
Yes, sir. Definitely, brother. All right, so here's the thing. This is Stone. I love to get the backstory, man. So let's start off with the name. The name is very interesting in itself. So let's start there with this name, and then where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Philly as a little baby dude, but then I moved to Salt Lake City, Utah, with my father, and was raised by my pops there. And then I moved here to AZ when my oldest son had just turned 1, so that would be just about 20 years ago that I moved down here to AZ. As far as the name goes, I started cooking professionally around 27 or 28 years ago. Long story short, I was in college, high school, and had 3 part-time jobs at the same time, didn't know what to do. My pops was like, you like to cook, it wasn't really necessarily a like, but, as a single parent with no other kids, he expected me to cook. So I guess it was more that I knew how to cook. So he's like, maybe you should look at cooking. So I went to the finest dining restaurant I could think of in downtown Salt Lake. Went to the executive chef and said, I don't know anything. I don't know how to hold a knife. I don't know anything, but give me a shot. I'll work for free. And he's like, well, I'll hire you as a prep cook. And it was kind of like everything kind of worked out. Within 3 months, the guy in the dessert station quit. So they had said, you don't have a choice, go work that. Like 3 weeks later, the salad guy quit. They're like, you're on salad. Then I don't know, maybe 3-4 months later, the guy that was on the grill, which was one step from basically, after that you become a chef, he went off to culinary school. So I worked that job, as a grill cook, and it was just kind of like in me, man. I was a wild child from my teens into my 20s as I'm doing that job. The drugs and alcohol were very, very prevalent in both my personal life and then in the work job. So it was like late nights, long nights, crazy. Like every story you've heard, I can probably top it. Like crazy stuff as far as in the restaurant world. And it was my it came to me really naturally. And so I did that job and decided I wanted to go to culinary school. But I wanted to explore other faculties of the culinary industry. So I left, and after that I ran an Irish pub for a while where I was their only cook, but kind of a manager of the back end. Then I went and worked for a French-Japanese fusion restaurant that actually was around during the Olympics there in Salt Lake, right there on Main Street where all the stuff went down. And then I went and worked as a sous chef for an Italian restaurant, a regional Italian restaurant in downtown Salt Lake. It's actually still there, and now it's like 3 level, like it's huge. So this dude made a go of it. But I ran that joint for a while, and then my now ex-wife, she got pregnant, and so it was actually she got pregnant after a best friend of mine had taken his life. And when that happened, I didn't know he was depressed. You know what I'm saying? Like I hung out with this dude every day. I hung out with him that night, like until 4 a.m. before he had went and done the deed. And I was such a drug addict and an alcoholic at the time, and I was like, I can't believe that I didn't know he was sad or or even depressed, or even like it was so traumatic to realize what a selfish person I was.
Mm.
That I was like, I'm done. Like at the time I was also I was in the industry of snow sales. So I basically we went to the service, and at that time I was working in the Irish pub, and I told the owner like, hey, at the wake can we just close it as a private? I'll pack it. You'll make your money and then some that night. And I was a cigarette smoker and alcoholic at the time, all of it together, and that was my last night. I was like, I'm done.
Mm.
I'm done with it all. Cold turkeyed it all because it all went together. Like I couldn't smoke without drinking, couldn't drink without smoking, couldn't do any of it without pot and coke and whatever. So I decided I was done. I didn't want to do any of it anymore. And I woke up the next day, and I had to go through the withdrawals. I went to the ER a couple of times, whatever. I didn't realize how bad the alcohol would be, but I was done. I never looked back. And 30 days later, my ex-wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. We'd moved out together. Like when I got sober, she's like, cool, that's like new life, new house, new everything, right? And it was about 30 days later, and she came in and she said, I need to take a pregnancy test. And I just started laughing, and she said, what's so funny? I was like, God has a bigger plan for me.
Mm.
Like he's going to give me a son, and he knows I'll never ever go back to the way I was, because I'm never going to be that for my son. Like my kid's never going to see that. And it was a son.
Yeah.
And God, was looking over my shoulder. Like she was pregnant, she had a boy. And so that was when I was like, I need to take my culinary skills to the next level, because now I got a family.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all up in Utah. So at that point, I basically started looking into culinary school myself. And I had a cousin who was a professional chef, a really, really good one, who had worked underneath he's at one of like the top 50 master chefs in the country down here, who happened to be starting a culinary school. So he kind of gave me a referral, and my ex-wife's family was actually from here. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like God opened the door and was just telling me to just keep pushing and stepping through them doors. So I got into the culinary school. I worked under that chef. I moved down here with my ex, and took off on my culinary world. I got out of there, went straight into management. I was working as managing some resorts downtown Scottsdale. I worked for meal prep companies. And I worked for a Fortune 500 company here, ran an enormous semiconductor plant. And at that point, it was right around the time that the recession hit. And we had lost our jobs. My wife is also a chef. We lost our jobs at the same time, so we're looking for work. And the only place that would hire me, because in the recession, everyone would look at my resume and go, well, we can't pay you what you're worth, so we're afraid, you work your 6 months, someone offers money, you're going to leave. So they didn't want to give me a chance. And a guy at a meat shop, after I went in there, he's like, no one's come in here with a tie. No one came in here like prepared. No one came in here with the resume. And, I've got to make you an offer. He's like, I can only offer you $9 an hour, and I'm sorry, and I know that that's an insult, but I just wanted you to know that it's here if you want it. I didn't want to be on unemployment, man. I'd never been unemployed in my whole life. So I took the $9. Within 3 weeks, he's like, you're killing it. He gave me $12. Like a month later, he bumped me to salary. I hired my wife. I was able to hire my wife because he put me into a management role, put her on salary. So we started running, they started a meal prep division, and I started working with professional athletes and the Cardinals, and doing menu planning and working with all these bodybuilders, and growing a name for myself. Is like I would do the menu, I would cook, I would deliver, I would order, I would inventory. I was working like 43 days in a row, whatever I had to do to help grow this company. And one day, like 12 hours into a shift on a Sunday, I get a text from him, basically very vague, but I knew he was letting me go. And at the time, my current wife was on FMLA with a baby like 4 weeks old at home. So he let us both go. via text, and I was like, cool, I'm out. And he's like, oh, we'll just stay with you tonight. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, you can come finish this. I'm out. And so we went, there we were both unemployed, but because I had done so much to like establish myself as, you know, the hard work and the skill set that I had a couple of personal trainers reach out and go, well, hey, I've still got clients that need your meal plans, that need your food. What, like, how do we make this happen? I said, well, I need a you know, a commercial kitchen. I can't do it illegally or whatever. And he's like, I got a client who has a kitchen. He closes after lunch. So I launched my own meal prep company working out of the back of this guy's kitchen, and we blew up. So I went to, I did that for like 3 or 4 years with my meal prep company. I had 2 retail locations here in the Valley. And then just decided that it wasn't worth the amount of work I was putting in, and employees suck. They don't care about your business like you do. So the minute you turn your back, problems happen. And so I decided to shut it down. I was like, I'm done with the business. I'm going to try to see what I can do with the private chef world. So I reached out to some of the more well-off professional athletes that had families, and was just told them, like, hey, I already cooked for you and your husband or whatever. And I know you have to cook for your children. So why don't you give me the opportunity to cook for all of you weekly, you know what I mean? Like in your house, like a private chef style. And I got 3 clients to agree in the first week, and by the end of that first week, I'd already made more money than I had with my 2 meal prep companies, like me personally, in like the previous month. So it's kind of a no-brainer, man. And I've been doing that for like 8 or 9 years now.
Oh, that's what's up, man. You have a very interesting story, and I'm glad you mentioned about mental health, man, because I think it's a subject that we really don't delve into enough, man. We definitely got to check in on one another, make sure we good, for real.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that was listen, I don't know if you sound like you're about 80 years old with all that you've done. I'm gonna have to be real there, brother. You did a lot. You have a powerful story. You've done a lot. You've been through a lot. So now we're moving to the cigars. You talked about the food background, the chef, cooking, your family. So when did you start smoking cigars? Because you mentioned some alcoholic issues. You smoked cigarettes and you did cold turkey. What made you pick up a cigar?
Well, you know, the first cigar I ever smoked was when I was 17 years old. It was a Dunhill. Paid like $22 back in the day for it, because you know, it was monsters. Like, you know, if I'm thinking back, it had to be, you know, some sort of a Toro. You know, it was a large ring gauge, because, you know, I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. I liked the 18. You know what I mean? Like, for real, like, I just remember as a kid, I always, for whatever reason, I thought cigars looked cool. Like, just, you know what I mean? So I my first one was at 17, and then it was kind of a weird thing, man. Like, you guys remember when the Philly Titans were the blunt, you know what I mean? When you would buy those cigars were for the blunts in the day. Well, I also, because I didn't know any better, I always thought them wooden tips looked sick in the mouth, the swishes with the wooden tips. Mm-hmm. So I liked a little bit of jewelry back in those days, and, you know, it was my party days, so I'd always walk around with the Swisher, the Black and Milds, and, you know, I'd always carry the Philly Titans in case we were going to roll up, but I also, you know, like I said, I always thought you were supposed to have some giant cigar in your mouth also to look tough, you know what I mean? Hanging out with the people that I always wanted to have that image that was down for whatever. So I would smoke Philly Titans at the same time. But before I really started smoking anything of any quality, I was like a special occasion guy. You know what I mean? Like, I could find a lot of those, but it was like holidays and, you know, maybe like, you know, birthday parties or, you know, wedding, things like that was kind of how I mainly like smoked. But I didn't really ever know what I was doing. You know, I remember buying cigar. I never got sick from a cigar, but I just remember like being overpowered, like my mouth being overpowered, or finding some that just felt like they were air, you know, like that weren't very enjoyable. So, I mean, I didn't really get focused until a few years ago, and like really, you know, asking the guy and like going into a lounge officially and making the effort to talk to the guy and be like, take me on a tour around, the cigar world. Like, I want to buy several right now, and I want to like run the gamut. Like, I want something light, I want something medium, I want something mild. Like, I'm looking for, I'm trying to discover the palette and the flavor notes and everything. Like, give me the run of the whole thing. That was really kind of how I first started getting into that. And as far as leading into my cigar line, the whole time I've been a chef, man. Well, first of all, I didn't start allowing myself to be called a chef till I was probably around 40. I always felt like that was something that the industry folk had to call you. And, I hear people at Village Inn being called cooks, and I'm like, nah, or I mean chefs, and I'm like, nah, that's not how that works, man. That title is a very hard title to get. There's a lot of time that has to be put in, a lot of experience, and you got to kind of dabble in a whole lot of things before I feel like you should be able to be called a chef. So, but by the time I got there, I'd always been bucking the system, man. Like, like doing my own businesses. And when I went into the private chef world, when I started the meal prep company, I didn't follow anyone's business model. I sold every single thing on my menu by the ounce, so it could be affordable and accessible to anybody, and so that I could meet anyone's meal plans. Because I then became like I started doing meal plans for people, both athletes and like weight loss, or people like cancer patients. Like, I've helped people. Like I've had amazing experience with the meal plan part of it. But then I started working with some young athletes, and I got a couple. I did some personal training with them and some meal plans, and got a young man who's about 22 years old. We took him all the way to nationals, and he placed 10th in his first show with me. Nearly turned pro in his first show with me. So I developed like my own thing, and they started calling me the chicken guy, because I developed my own way of cooking chicken that could be reheated by all these athletes that were going to need to buy it in bulk and eat it multiple times a day. But I didn't want it to be dry, and I didn't want it to be chewy. So I kind of rebelled against what way everyone had said to do it, or the way everyone did it. People always trying to tell me, what you should do, and I'd be like, nah, you got that. Like, that's on you. I never let anyone tell me what I should do with my business. I hate that. Like, that's like an insult. Like, while you're sitting there playing video games or doing your job at the bank, which is cool, whatever, but I'm not trying to tell you, you should count the money backwards, or whatever. You should, what I mean? You should X, Y, X, Y, X. Like, I'm not trying to tell you how to do you. So don't try to tell me how to do me. And because I have that drive, and if anything, when people would tell me that, it just made me want to like do it my way more. Like, I'm gonna show you that I don't need your advice. You know what I mean? Like, I'll ask for it if I want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not too proud to fucking ask a question.
Talk that shit.
But,
no, excuse me. Go ahead, talk that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Don't tell nobody. Nobody can tell you what to do, man. Tell them, Rebel Chef.
That's what I'm saying, man. I don't like that shit, man. I really don't. I don't like anyone. I don't try to tell anyone how to live theirs, and I don't want anyone to, come into my world and tell me what I should do or how I should do it, or if they got a good idea. Because if you got a good idea, hey, motherfucker, you go do that shit.
Damn.
Like,
that's
for real.
Right.
Like, you go fucking do that shit. So I did that with my cooking, you know what I'm saying? And then with the cigar world, man, that's where it started to kind of come together. Is I get sick of, how many cigars have coffee notes, man? Every fucking cigar. You know how many cigars have fucking, you know what I'm saying? People are like, this one has cocoa. This one has black pepper. This one, yeah, no shit. Dude, every fucking cigar does. You know why? Because it's all from they're tobacco, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, all tobacco's gonna have some similarities. And I got tired of like looking at cigars, because I like really bold, really strong cigars. So someone would say you should try yada yada. So I go look it up and I'd research it, and it'd be like coffee, leather, earth, spice. And I'm like, cool. Well, so does the fucking Connecticut I just read from Camacho. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all the same.
I don't like it, dude. It's all the same, and it's boring. And then when you get the guys that all they do are big cigar reviews, they write a 98 paragraph thing. The first 7 puffs, it tasted like, the rain was falling from Africa, and I could feel it on the back of my neck. And I'm like, it didn't, dude.
Hey, Chef Jay, I'm sorry. I gotta cut you off. That is so funny you bringing this up because we was having this same conversation before we hit you up, man.
Absolutely.
We was like, yo, where all these people getting all this peaches and cherries and
Well,
but
here's the thing
Barbecue
about that,
chicken
though.
with a burnt profile. Come on, man. Stop
Well,
it.
but here's the thing about that, though. The way that so one of the things that I started to like, I was able to kind of figure out my palate with cigars pretty quickly, and it's because, well, one, obviously I'm a professional chef, right? So that gave me kind of an advantage. The second is, I like Scotch, single malt Scotch a lot. And when I started getting into single malt, I'm just like I said with the cigars, I'm a research. So I'm going to buy a whole bunch of different kinds. I'm going to try a bunch of different kinds. I'm going to research all the regions. I'm going to learn all the notes. I'm going to try to learn stuff about this so that I'm an informed, you know, connoisseur of these things. Like I'm someone who enjoys it, but it's not like, yeah, Jameson. You know what I'm saying? Like not drinking the piss water. You know, I'm not getting down like that. So when it comes to the cigars, I started thinking, I'm going to take a different approach. And something that I do because I'm a food guy is everything I do with food. So when I go out back to my smoke shack and I'm smoking a cigar, and my wife's inside making arroz con pollo, she brings it to me outside. It's dinner. My wife, she's a Mexican. She's traditional in that sense, where she serves her husband. It's a beautiful thing that I've never expected, but it's what she does. And so she would bring it to me. So I'm not putting out my cigar, man, because I'm not relighting it. I'm not about that. So I was smoking and eating, and then I like michelada or I like a scotch. So I'm drinking, I'm smoking, I'm eating. And what I like to do is I'll take a draw while I have food in my mouth, because I like to see how those flavors come together or what they separate. Because it's just like I don't know if you know this, but one of the things that salt does when you add it to a dish is it actually kind of defines the flavors. It separates them. So where something can taste good and kind of just like it tastes like a good flavor, you can put it in there, and sometimes it actually separates the flavors, and you can be like, oh, there's a distinct flavor of cilantro or a distinct onion and garlic. Like it just kind of separates things. Well, for me, I can smoke a cigar with some food, and it does one or the other. It either separates the food, the flavors, or it enhances them, right? And it does it for both the food and the cigar. And that was something that became really beautiful. But in that, it kind of did something that made me almost what I hate in the cigar reviewer, in that I smoke a cigar now and I close my eyes, and as a chef, I try to decide what meal or food the cigar reminds me of. Because there are times where I'm smoking it and I go, man, that's crazy. It's got kind of like it reminds me of, like there's a bread, but I notice the cinnamon. Like I do notice some sort of spice that isn't like black pepper, that isn't like fiery pepper. And I'm like, that's weird. It's kind of bready, kind of got a cinnamon-y thing. It's leaving a creamy taste on my tongue. Like when I'm a finish, when I'm sitting here, I feel like my tongue is coated. It's not dried out. It's kind of creamy. It's lingering. And then I also, all of a sudden to myself, I'm like, man, it kind of reminds me of French toast. But I do notice a little bit of that coffee in there. And it's not like a sweet, creamy coffee or chocolate that's with it. Maybe it's a little bitter. And I'm like, so it's like a dark chocolate, like bitter dark chocolate, black espresso with some French toast in the morning. So I started describing my experiences with cigars in actual food terms rather than just the basic cocoa, leather, the same generic thing that everyone had been doing. Now, do I say that when I smoke it, it tastes like French toast? No, it doesn't taste like fucking French toast. Come on now. But I was
wondering about that, Jay. I was going to say, you got French toast cigar. Send me some.
No, it definitely doesn't like necessarily out and out across your tongue taste like French toast. But I'm one of those guys that does the slow exhale with the first few as I'm kind of experiencing my cigar, and I'm really trying to like just be in the moment and separate myself. My cigars are my escape from all the bullshit, like most of us.
Yes.
So I just look at it in terms of an entire collaboration of the flavors and what do they remind me of. And sometimes the cigar that tasted like do you guys know what a champurrado is? Mexican hot chocolate?
No,
Oh,
sir.
okay.
I went to public school,
So-
so I'm from the
So-
hood. Jay, I'm from the hood,
So
Jay.
you should have known.
So we
You
don't know
shoulda
nothing
known.
about
You
that,
shoulda
brother. I'm
known.
sorry.
No,
I
I'm telling you,
apologize.
that's what that is. Like, so Mexican hot chocolate. It's a different. They use a different type of bitter chocolate, and they use like a kind of like a pureed corn. It's very, very creamy and very, very rich, heavy on the tongue. But they also use a little bit of chile spice in it. So sometimes, like a cigar might remind me of that because it's got a lot of creaminess. It's got a lot of chocolate, but it's got some like chile, a little spice in it. So sometimes it reminds me of that. Doesn't mean that this is like every cigar is a little bit different in the same line, even. You know what I mean? Like it'll have a basic profile, but you got to remember these things are handmade.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be a little different. The year of the leaf is going to be a little different. The age, the way that it was dried is going to be a little different. So sometimes one that I remember as having that might not have it the next time around. But I still try to figure out what's in it every time. And in my opinion, the way that I do it is a little bit different than the norm. So I'm rebelling against that. So I rebel in my food industry. And right now I'm a food guy who's talking about food in a cigar. And then I'm rebelling in the cigar industry because here I am trying to be a cigar guy talking about food in my cigars. So the idea was just that, you know, the rebel chef, I'm like in every aspect of my world, I'm rebelling against whatever the norms are, what people say you are or are not supposed to do. So that's where the name came from in a 27-minute explanation.
Okay, so no problem. So I'm gonna let you talk here, Rebel J. So I'm curious to know. Now you sent the sample pack. Thank you, sir. So
Yeah.
again, I told you I'm from the hood. I went to public school. So, and I'm gonna let you another secret, Rebel. I got some sunglasses on right now and my hat on backwards, just so I can look cool on video. But I really need to have prescription glasses on so I can see what I'm looking at, and I can't. And I'm trying to be cool. So I'm going to ask you, because I have, out of the pack that you sent, this is the darker cigar with the red, the white, the green.
Yeah.
What's the name of that?
That's the Catalia.
The Catalia.
So the story behind that cigar is, well, one, it's got the Mexican San Andreas wrapper, which is kind of a beautiful thing. I know that a lot of people, well, I don't know if a lot, but I hear quite a few people who aren't really a fan of Mexican San Andreas. They don't like the earthy, the leathery notes that it possesses. I personally, I love it. I think it's beautiful looking, and I think it tastes incredible. But anyway, so my business partner, the guy who, you know, when I told him my dream, said, "Yo, I got you." He's a friend I've known since I was 20, and he's of Mexican descent. So he was originally like, I'll just stay in the background and be quiet, you know what I mean? Like, you do it all. Like, I'll just keep helping this dream move forward, you know, whatever. And I was like, dude, you're my, you know, like one of my two oldest friends in the world. Like, this is your business too. Like, I may be doing all the legwork or whatever, but this is still yours. So I wanted him to feel like part of this was his and to name the cigar. So the Catalaya is the flower that you see on it. There's
Yes.
a version of that name that's Catalia, and that's what he wanted to name it. And then the colors are the colors of the Mexican flag. So it's kind of an homage to him, to his heritage, and you know, giving him a piece and a pride in what we've done. And then if you look on the sides of the band, on one side you'll see a sugar skull, which is to represent the Mexican culture. On the other side, that is the sun god of the Taino people, which were the original people of Puerto Rico. So because my mother's Puerto Rican, so
Nice.
like we're just kind of paying homage to both of our heritage as far as that goes. So each one of the bands does have the Tainos. Sol de Guayuya is the name, and the sugar skull on each one, and that's just to kind of, you know, represent
Nice.
both.
All right, now K-Rock has the barber pole.
Yeah.
He has
Cool.
that particular
So-
cigar. So what's again? He can see his. He doesn't have any glasses
Yeah.
on, so he can see.
That's the
Hey Jay,
that's
before you
El
start,
Lechon, yeah.
Jay, I just want to say that's what brought me to your attention. The fact that you like to pair the food with the cigars, because you know I'm a foodie myself. You could tell by my belly.
Mind your business.
So I just enjoyed the fact that you And I enjoyed how you explained it, how you compare the flavors to the foods that you've eaten. And I'm kind of wishing we had some food right now.
I think he's getting hungry.
Yeah.
You talk to food. You get hungry, bro? You get hungry.
Yeah.
But now we had this conversation. Now listen, Rebel J, here's the thing. I say cigars, a lot of times this conversation. I like the idea and the concept of eating, but I don't know if I could trust eating around everybody while smoking a cigar with their mouth full of food, spitting food out. I don't know how that works, bro. So,
man, what kind of? Come on, man. Yeah,
you know,
people,
everything's not for everybody.
With, man. Come on, no, it's not. It's really not.
You got some friends that you're looking like. That mouth is very nasty right now. They got food in it. They're chewing on chicken. They got chicken in the corners of their mouth, and they got chicken on the cigar. And they talking about, oh man, this flavor goes. It's like, nah. Hold on. Stop it. Pause.
I mean,
am I wrong for that, Jay, or what? You never experienced that yet?
I think in a sense, no. Well, first of all, if I'm being honest, I think most people have either not tried it or they're hesitant to try it, which I think is a cool thing. Like for me, like it gives me my in, right? Because it's something that I do. Like right now, I'm drinking my favorite type of beer, and I'm smoking the Don Cecilio because it's that one's my has sentimental, meanings to me. So it's a very special cigar to me, and it goes perfectly with this beer. It's got the right amount of spice, the right amount of balance, the right amount of bold flavors, but one doesn't overpower the other, which is also the key when you're trying to determine what kind of cigar you want to smoke with what kind of meal, right? Like we know the Meat Lovers was designed to smoke with a hearty steak. Like literally that's the conception of the cigar Meat Lovers. Right. Well, that's what my Catalia is. It's that steak. It's that real spicy Mexican food, man. Okay. And the thing about the Catalia, when you eat it with, like if you like spice and you eat it with spice, it enhances the spice on both. When you take a draw of that and your mouth's already on fire, you're going to feel it tingle even more. Vice versa, you're going to notice those notes come off that Catalia. It's beautiful, dude. To me, it's like a dance. It's like a dance that you're figuring out. Like my barber pole is what I would consider my mild cigar. We've got a couple of brothers in the cigar community that have like issues with their tongues, and some cigars, some types of tobacco, light them up and give them like pain. It gives them trouble. They can't smoke. They got to take days off of smoking cigars. So I wanted to create a cigar that was.
I'm sorry. Whoa, bro. Okay, say that again. You got some friends that smoke the cigar, and something happens with their tongue, and they can't smoke for days.
Yeah. There's a couple of people that have.
Are they allergic or something?
Tongue.
That's a little different. Never heard of that.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Different. They might make me scared. I might be nervous in the room. They might fall out. Like, you can't smoke with me, bro. You stay close to the hospital. You want to smoke these cigars. I don't know
what it is.
Yeah, that's different,
I don't know
bro.
what it is. Yeah, so, but that being that, I don't know how common it was. I hadn't heard of it really either, but all of a sudden in a short amount of time, two people that I know, it's not the exact same for both of them, but they just were like certain, like spicy, bold cigars would like light their tongue up. Like just have their tongue on fire. So I wanted to create a mild cigar that had lots of flavor, was very bold in flavor, but like low in nicotine, lower in nicotine, and like lower in that black pepper notes, like less Ligero leaves. You know what I'm saying? Less of that Candeja Valley stuff. So that was kind of the goal of that one, was to make one that people were going to be like, man, this thing tastes amazing. But at the same time, like if they're a new person, they don't lose interest because it's boring. It's got a lot of flavor, but they're not turning green.
Gotcha.
They're not getting lightheaded, and they're not going, man, this is, it's not burning their nose. Like if they're trying to learn how to retro, right? They do a retro and they're not like eyes watering, you know what I mean? Feeling like they're going to pass out.
Now, how many cigars are in your profile?
There's only 3 right now. I released 3 right now to start. So I said that was the sampler. There's one of each. I do have something incredible in the works. I will say that it's a Vitola that's never been done.
What we talking about, Rebel? You come on, talk to us. It's like Howard Stern show. You can tell us, buddy.
Yeah.
You can tell us what's going on. Talk to us,
I'm
man.
gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it the 4th of July, 2024. But I might do a limited release this around Christmas time. Just a limited amount of boxes.
Can we get a little sneak preview? What or we just you want to say?
I'm only gonna explain kind of what's behind it because I think it's important.
Okay.
For, just to kind of build the mystique and people want what they can't get yet. But it's my tribute to veterans, to firefighters, to policemen, to the front line. That's why I'm going to release it on the 4th of July. Is going to be my official. I'm going to release it every year, so it's going to be in the nature of a 4th of July-ish themed, but it's going to represent, and it's going to be. My father-in-law is a retired Marine, and I've just always had the utmost. I love America, man. Like, I'm not gonna front. Like, I've traveled. I've been to 7 different countries. Well, 8 if you include like Canada or whatever. But like, America's my favorite place, man. Like I'm proud to be an American. Do we have problems? Of course we do. Is it perfect? Hell no. But if I gone to other countries and been like, this place is fucked up, I want to go back home. Yes, I have.
Yes, I know the feeling.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, the people that sacrifice, man, the people that do and have sacrificed to make the country what it is, I just believe they created an environment for me to do what I want to do and to be an entrepreneur and to be a father and to be, the man that I am. So I just wanted, once I had these first 3, we started developing something different because I wanted to do something that was kind of just a tribute to all of the men and women, before, during, and future. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so I'll let you know we're lighting up these cigars as we speak now. We're lighting them up. I got the San Andreas wrapper. You told me the name, but again, I went to public. Yeah. That's what I said. See, he was okay. It's a test. It's gonna be a test after this. All right, hold on.
There is multiple choice though. Don't worry.
Like I said, I love the construction. The construction's good construction.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk like we're doing cigar reviews. That's something we do. I don't do.
Yeah.
I'm just a regular guy who loves cigars, but we're gonna talk like the guys you hate right now and give you all this.
No, I appreciate
BS.
That. Yeah, definitely.
Well, let me look at my flavor wheel so I can get professional. Too bad you're not here, brother. We need you to be in the studio with us so we can have a good time here. But we got the cigar lit. Nice flavor. It's nothing harsh. Some cigars are harsh right from the door.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, because you got to burn off that.
Yeah, I'm smoking the El Lechon. Is that how you say it?
Lechon. Yeah,
Lechon?
It's named after a Puerto Rican dish. Crispy. It has very crispy skin. It's a slow cooked pig. It's very, very crispy. It's kind of sweet. I believe like we tried to create a cigar that's got that sweet and savory kind of vibe going.
Okay, so that's what the pig on the band is for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this is.
And then that band color is the American flag. The Arizona flag. So that one's representing AZ that's where the business is from.
Getting a little sweetness on my lip from the San Andreas here. This is good so far, brother. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is a very interesting cigar.
It's like eating. I'm apologize, Rebel J. I told him earlier, a conversation can go and ensue. As soon as you start eating, the room gets quiet. So I guess that's similar to what we're doing right now with these cigars. We got them in our mouth. We're puffing. Right. And because a lot of times, it's my opinion, if you're in a crowd, you're at the lounge, you're not really concentrating so much on the cigar. You're more in conversation. You're not really focusing on pulling those the flavors. So I enjoy an opportunity when you can actually sit back and try to focus. Again, everybody's opinion and the palate is going to be different, but I'm enjoying this right now, brother. So you got to forgive us if we get a little quiet. If we get quiet, just letting you know we're puffing. We're like eating your food.
If you invite a guest over to the house and they're eating dinner and it goes quiet, you know what I mean? That means they're busy on the food. That means they're enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm saying. I don't want you to think like we went radio silent, but we're sitting here puffing, examining the cigar like we really know what we're doing. it makes it look good for the camera. Just the fact that we got some cameras running.
Yeah.
It makes it look
intense.
Make it look good. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell the way we're rolling these cigars right now, brother. And K-Rock's taking pictures like he's a tourist. So you got to forgive him. That's all right. So what are you getting off yours, brother? What are you getting?
Yeah, I was listening to what he's saying about this El Lechon, about how he wanted to get. It's not too. I do get a slight spice on it, and I do get that sweetness. And when I do a retrohale on it, it all fully comes together. It's a very pleasant experience, man. I know you were a little bit nervous smoking these the first time, but hey, man, these
I'm a fan.
good.
I'm a fan so far, brother.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan, no doubt.
I definitely am a fan.
Thank you.
Now, how long have you been doing this, brother?
Man, this has been. It took me a year to get my launch. Like literally, I think it was Father's Day last year. So, and I launched this year right before. So it took a while. The cigars, the first when we finally were locked into these 3 profiles. They were finished. The first batch was ready to fly back from Nicaragua December 26th. But then, as you guys know, the legalities of a cigar company are absolutely bananas.
Crazy.
Cigar recon.
Yeah, that's why, and I reached out to Dante too. Like, I spoke to him during some of it because, every time I'm like, all right, so this is all I got to do. And the attorneys are like, this is all you got to do. And as soon as I was done, the accountant would be like, so now all you got to do is this. And I'm like, wait, do what? So I'd have to go back to my, you guys know, it was just jumping through hoops, man. So it took me another 6 months of basically just, thinking around with attorneys and the state and the FDA, the ATF, with trying to get the imports and just all the dumb shit.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel the pain, brother. I feel the pain.
Robert, okay, so where can folks get your cigar, brother? Because
so my
I recommended
website,
this.
RebelChefCigars.com, man. It's pretty easy. Rebel Chef J, RebelChefCigars.com. It's I try to ship them out as quick as possible. I've got a full-time job and 2 side gigs, so I finish the full-time job, I come home, and I just start fulfilling orders. We've been blessed, man. Like, we launched, and I had my plan was to do that live launch where I sent out all the samplers and then everyone kind of smoke and post and join us on that live event. And I'd never seen it done before, and I don't know where it came, like why I thought about it, but I did. And there were some people, some of them haters out there that didn't think it would work, but it went off, man. It went off. And now I've been seeing on Twitter, man, I've been seeing my cigars from coast to coast. Like, it's been crazy the amount of love and support I've had.
I've seen it, brother. I've seen it personally.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Before he told me about you, I was seeing your cigars, brother. I said, who is this guy out here making all this noise? What is going on out here?
Man, it's been crazy. The community's just been, put me on their shoulders, basically, and we're like, we're gonna support you. And that, I knew it was coming as far as support, just because it's a great community. But then when I sent out the cigars, like, you guys know, you get a new cigar, you gotta release Cigar Recon to the world. You're like, yeah, I love it, but what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're biased. You know what I'm saying? So I was pretty worried, man. But then the reviews started coming in, and they were just like glowing, man. Like, full, very in-depth reviews, and everyone, like, I already was getting repeat orders within a week. Like, wow. It's just been incredible. Like, I loved all my cigars, but then when I started seeing everyone else that was feeling the same way, and I was kind of getting the same reactions that I knew I wasn't, like, kidding myself. And now my confidence in my cigars, like, don't get me wrong, I still get nervous, but like, I have a lot of, I don't feel like it's a crapshoot. Like, you're either gonna love it or hate it. Nah, I think you're gonna at least respect it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question though, because I'm looking at Smoke's cigar, that Cataleya, and it reminded me of a movie, Colombiana. Have you ever seen that with Zoe Saldana?
Have I seen the what?
Have you seen the movie Colombiana with Zoe Saldana?
Yeah, she's fire.
Yeah,
of course.
and wasn't she called Catalea in that movie?
Yes.
That's what the
Yeah,
cigars reminded me of. That cigar is
I
so
I
beautiful.
think that's where that might have been where why my business partner I think that might have been why he used that version of the
Ah,
name. I think it might
I
have been
would have.
that
Hey,
version.
I would have used it too, boy. Woo,
Yeah.
Zoe's out.
Yeah,
That. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Hey. You guys are married. Cut it out. Knock it off. Don't get fucked up by your wives talking real gangster on the podcast. Your wife hear this, she's like, oh, really? That's why you like watching that
Well,
movie that much. Okay. Yeah, okay.
yeah, saying it line for line. How do you know every word to this show?
Exactly. And now you gonna make a cigar about her? Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. Like, yeah, you
yeah,
having that
that's why
Rebel
you're
J?
smoking that cigar.
Yeah, he got
Yep,
busted up. His wife punched him in his mouth, knocked his
yep.
teeth out, cut his arms off. Like, damn, all that? Wow, be
Yeah,
careful.
she went all Colombiana on the back, man.
Exactly. You don't want that. You don't want that. She
Nah,
was
nah.
dangerous. She was.
Yeah, man. She
Now listen,
was. She
Rebel
was
J.
dangerous.
Now I know you got 20 jobs like a Jamaican, so I'm not gonna hold you. I got one more thing for you here, brother. So the question I always ask my guests: is there anything that we didn't ask you that maybe you wanted the folks to know? Because you covered a few things, but you told a great story, so we didn't have to ask a lot of questions. But is there anything that you want the listeners to know, brother? This is your opportunity.
Well, the one other thing is I just kind of like to talk about the box press, the one that you guys aren't smoking.
Oh, okay.
That one's that one's that one's called the Don Cecilio, and I named it after my grandfather.
Ah.
Nice.
So he and then the band on that one, if you look, is actually the Puerto Rican flag, and the cathedral on the front is the cathedral in the hometown Guayama, where my family's from. He was just a beautiful man. Like physically, he had some Italian blood. He had these blue eyes, dark skin, Puerto Rican man with these bright blue eyes, and he was kind of the bitch's bastard, as you will. But he was also a family man. My mother is the youngest of 12, so he was busy, if you know what I'm saying. But he worked hard, always smiling. I'll never forget the first time I met him. He's near and dear to me, rest in peace. So this one is a tribute to him. It means a lot in a lot of ways to me. The flavors are very pronounced, and there's some spice, and it's got a beautiful burn, and I feel like it's just such a perfect homage to him. I know that if he were alive, that he would be very proud of the cigar and proud of me. And so that one I just want, mainly just because I want to go on record, letting everyone know that this one is very, very personal and an inspired cigar for me. And I think it became it. Again, it's rough because I'm biased, but this one and actually the El Lechon have been incredibly well received. Like, just blown my mind on the reviews and the amount of people that have come back and reordered those cigars already or bought them by the box already. So I'd just like to say that, and other than that, man, I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate you from the other small business, as you guys own, are all part of Cigar Recon, which is a brand and a vision that I respect, and cigars that I really, really enjoy. But you guys, my interaction with you, Ace, always been positive. You've always been a really, really friendly, supportive guy on the cigar communities that we both are in. And then reaching out to ask if I would be a part of this, which is obviously really very good for my business. I'm just thankful for you guys, man. I appreciate you taking your time. I appreciate you smoking my cigars. I just want to thank you guys.
Well, Recon is all about helping others and helping ourselves too. But I just found your whole concept so interesting. I felt like it needed to be talked about and heard. But one thing about the Don Chicho, I'm sorry, is it Don? How is it?
It's Cecilio.
Cecilio. I noticed that it's a box press. Is that any specific reason?
Yeah, actually. Well, it's kind of funny, to be honest. In the Twitter cigar community, I hope he hears this because I love this guy. So T Ross. T Ross is like
Okay, T
box
Ross.
press. Yeah, yeah. So he and I have bombed each other back and forth, you know what I mean? And I like he always shows me love in the morning, and I always show him like that dude is just like a family man. Like he's a great person. He's also like a super box press, like, like lover. I've always liked to box press myself. And as I'd come up with the blends, we didn't do the box press, but as you know, when you do a box press, you got to take out tobacco, right? Like it's not the same. So we had to kind of do some adjustments. But for the T Ross, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, you know what? Instead of them all, because they're already Toros, which I thought was the great. I know it's like kind of the top selling. I didn't want to do a giant Vitola. I didn't want a ring gauge. It's not one, I don't enjoy it, but a lot of the people that I'm very close to also don't like the 60 and up. So I was like, I wanted one of them. I wanted them to all be very distinctly different. So obviously the Catalia is very, very dark with the San Andreas. The barber pole, obviously it's a barber pole. And what was going to make the Ecuadorian Sumatra stand out? I was like, well, I know, if I love this cigar, and if I do a box press, it might be one of T's, top 10s. Like, if you could only smoke 10 cigars, if you had to cut yourself down to only 10, I was like, I think I can make one. T would drop in that top 10. So that's honestly where the box press came from, was kind of because of T Ross.
Okay, well, yeah, definitely shout out to T Ross. He dropped me a bomb the other day, and brother, I got something coming back for you soon. He's a good dude.
That guy's gold.
Yeah, good dude.
Listen, I'm letting you know right now. I'm smoking the San Andreas, brother. This is a banger. You did good, Rebel.
Yeah, man.
You did good. God damn, Rebel, you did good out in these streets. You cooking good food and making cigars. You trying to become a millionaire. All right, so Rebel J, let folks know where they can find you on social media, because it's important. Again, you mentioned that network. Let folks know where they can find you. You on Twitter, you on IG. Talk to us, brother. Shout it out.
All right, man. Facebook, I'm just under Rebel Chef J. On Twitter, I'm also Rebel Chef J. On Instagram, I've got two. I've got my personal one, Rebel Chef J, which is kind of just more of me doing food and cigars and my cigars. But then I've got Rebel Chef Cigars is my business page that's only about Rebel Chef Cigars. So I've got that one on IG. And then I've also got Rebel Chef J1 on TikTok, which is a little bit newer, but I'm trying to get some content on there, and kind of building some momentum recently. And then you can buy my cigars on www.rebelchefcigars.com.
Damn, my man. K-Rock, you got anything for him before we let him go, brother?
Hey, man, I appreciate you doing the show. Like I said, I just wanted everybody to know about you, man, because I really felt like this was a very, very interesting concept, and a concept that is not widely used in the cigar community. So this is dope, man.
Yes, sir, brother.
I'm gonna definitely smoke the other two with some food. That's what
try it out, man. Just try it out. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, you don't like it, but you gotta at least try it.
Indeed.
Oh, we definitely gonna do that, brother. Well, Rebel J, brother, listen, we appreciate you taking your time, because it sounds like you got at least 20 jobs. So
thanks, man.
We appreciate you taking the time out to share. Your cigars are banging. We appreciate you being a guest on Smoke World.
Smoke World.
Brother, we appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
All right, bro. Take care. Peace.
Bye.
Yo, that was dope.
All right. Again, shout out to my man, Rebel J, the chef, the man who sent these lovely cigars to us, brother. Now, I have been smoking. I wrote it down now. I wrote it down so I can keep up. The Catalia. Brother J, this is a banger. It is a banger. I don't say that about every cigar. This was a good cigar, my man. So, folks, if you don't know, now you know. Brother K-Rock, what's your opinion of your cigar, sir?
Rebel Chef J, you got some winners here. I mean, this El Lechon is sweet. It's got a little spice on it, and that retro hell I'm loving. And I'm looking forward to smoking that Catalea and the Don. So I recommend these. I mean, go to Rebel Chef cigars.com and check out what he got going on over there, man.
You can't go wrong. Now, as you notice, I intentionally stayed away from the profile, the flavors. I'm just going to say, you won't be disappointed. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Bottom line. Right, we all smoked a bunch of cigars, and we owe nobody nothing. We tell you the truth. Rough, rugged, and raw. The cigar is a banger, bro.
Yeah, Chef J, man, I appreciate the time and the thought and the effort that you put into putting these blends together, because you really did your research and you really did your work, and these things are nice.
Yeah, man. And you know this, man.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode of Smoke World in the books. My man Ace, a.k.a. K-Rock, Rebel Chef J. Folks, this is what we do. If we get information, we try to share it. A public service announcement type of thing. So, with that, Instagram, Smoke World Podcast. Website, smokeworldpodcast.com. Email, stone@smokeworldpodcast.com. Listen, tell a friend. Hey, I heard this podcast. They put us on to some information. Share it with your friends. All right? Take care. Peace.